And the guy to talk Kansas basketball right here. In fact, I was on the radio with a friend, Kevin Wall, last week, and I was talking about how you were going to come on the show, and he jumped right in there. You mean Kansas Jayhawks? NBA for a dozen years, but he knows Kansas Jayhawks certainly. College basketball, Jayhawks having a rough time this year right now, aren't they?
Yeah,
trouble.
Yeah, they have a very talented team. They're just struggling a lot, and they've lost some games they shouldn't have lost. Like you just pointed out on the highlight, they turned the ball over in a key part of the game, and it might have cost them the game. And they've lost 3 or 4 games like that, and that's knocked them out of the top 25, which Kansas and us Jayhawks are not used to.
You know, I'm wondering, Ron Futrell's a BYU guy, Paul, and BYU smoked Kansas in Utah just about 2 weeks ago. I mean,
Marion Center's a tough place to play.
No, a rough outing for that Kansas school going up to Utah for those pair up there. But let's talk a little bit about college basketball right here. And when you think of college basketball with the NIL, the transfer portal, and all that comes to mind, as an old school basketball player, what is that? What this new stuff is? What is it? What do you think?
Well, my NIL was $15 a month. I don't know about you guys, but
plenty of money.
Yeah, but I think it's brought in a new dynamic. It's pretty much took college basketball student athletes into professional basketball because they're now being paid a lot of money. Some people over $1 million, $2 million a year, and with the transfer portal, they're free agents almost every year. So now a lot of the colleges are hiring general managers, just like professional sports, to manage that the NIL money they have, how they disperse it, what sports it goes to, and it's changed the whole dynamics of the sport. And I think it was meant to help even things out, but I think it's done the opposite. Now you have more of the haves than the have-nots.
How close were you to coming to Vegas? Now let's go back there. You grew up in Southern California, played with some great guys, very talented players back then, Reggie Theus among them, and Jerry Tarkanian was recruiting you pretty heavily. How did that go? Yeah,
back then we had a great class in Southern California. NBA guys that came out of my class: Bill Laimbeer, David Greenwood, Roy Hamilton, Brad Holland, Reggie Theus, myself, James Hardy, and there were college coaches in our neighborhood and at our gyms all the time. And Coach Tark really he was really smart. He recruited parents of players, because if you get the parents, you could probably get the kid. And my parents loved him. I loved Reggie Theus. He was a good friend of mine. I visited here in Las Vegas, and he almost came, but the Jayhawks and their Jayhawk blue got me.
Rock Chalk did it.
All right, we're going to talk much more with Paul about the NBA in your career. Milwaukee, Golden State, terrific career, great stories. How about the Lady Rebels? Let's talk some basketball here with the Lady Rebs, coming off yet another championship season. Made it official on their last game, and on Saturday they celebrated the seniors during their last regular season home game of the year. Early in the game now they were down, but it doesn't matter. They've done that a lot this year. And then they come back to win. Guess what the final score was? 89-56. That's 8 in a row for Lindy LaRocque and her girls. In fact, they've only lost one conference play this year. Now their next game, last regular season game before they hit the tournament, will be against Wyoming, and that is on Wednesday.
Game Nuggets is brought to you by Pollo Campero.
All right, now for our Game Nuggets, we look at that matchup. Lady Rebels, best free throw shooting game, going 24 of 25. UNLV scoring 48 points in the paint compared to 18 for the Spartans. Now we're talking about the men right here, and the ladies here. Lady Rebels bench out scoring San Jose State's 34-4. UNLV forcing 19 turnovers against the Spartans, scoring 21 points off those turnovers.
Time to talk some Runnin' Rebels here in a rivalry matchup with Reno Friday night. The Silver State Series going down at the MAC in the first half. Julian Rishwain wide open from 3. When he's hitting, the Rebels are going to be in pretty good shape. Rebels take a lead, 18-15. Let's go to the second half now. They find the big man, Bear Cherry, Jeremiah Bear Cherry. His 4th dunk of the night. The Rebels up 11. A minute left in this game. It's pretty much in the bag for the Rebels. Jalen Hill, the local kid out of Clark High School, nice spin move. He gets the bucket and the foul. The Rebels take this one pretty easily over Reno. The big win. They have won 4 of their last 6.
That was a nice win for.
Because they were ready when they found out that DJ wasn't going. They were ready when other guys had found out early in the season that they weren't going to be able to go. So they've been ready to prepare. And it hasn't been perfect every time, or every game hasn't been perfect, but it hasn't changed their approach.
There you go.
All right, I was thinking about that game, and when you look at your rival, Reno, and to beat them up, and then they really just did beat them up. It was pretty impressive here at home. So, Kevin, as we're getting ready to roll into a tournament, building a little momentum, how important is that, Mo?
It's so important in every sport, but especially college basketball. Momentum is everything, and if you can get your team healthy and playing hard and the right way at the end of the season, and now with the end of season tournaments, you can really get on a roll. And when you get into the NCAA, if you make it in the NCAA, all you got to do is win 6 games in a row and you win it all. So you get in a roll now, it's huge.
Yeah, what's nice about the conference tournaments is it really is, okay, they talk about expanding the NCAA from the field of 64, I guess now 68 with the playing games, which everybody right now has a shot at winning the national championship, which is not the case in football, because you win 3 in your conference tournament, or 4, whatever it takes, and then you go into the NCAA tournament to win 6, as you said. So every team right now has a shot. The Rebels have a shot. We could put the odds to it, but I'm not going to. They're not good. But everybody has a shot at hitting that hot streak. Were there times throughout your career, basketball, college, and in the NBA, when you just felt like you couldn't lose? Your teams with the Bucks or otherwise?
Yeah, I think in college, my junior year at Kansas, I think we lost 2 games in the regular season, and unfortunately we had to come out west and play UCLA.
What?
And we lost that game. Back then there was only 32 teams in the tournament, and now there's 64 plus. But you have teams like Kansas that are talented enough, if they can get on a roll, they can win it all. I looked at the top 20 in college, and I wouldn't be surprised if any of those top 20 got to the Final Four. That's how even it is if you get on a roll now.
Paul, you've been around Las Vegas for a while. You know the NBA Summer League's here. You got all those AAU tournaments, the boys basketball that comes here. In addition to all these tournaments now, you got the Big West, the Mountain West. It used to be the Pac-12 would come here and play. Boy, this really is a basketball mecca, isn't it?
Yeah, Las Vegas is the mecca of basketball, especially in July. You have all the AAU tournaments, you have the NBA Summer League, you have the Olympic team, the U.S. Olympic team trains here, you have other national teams here, and it's really become the place to be, especially in July here in Las Vegas for basketball. And then you turn in all these other tournaments that are going on. If you're a basketball fan and you're in Las Vegas, you could go to any arena around and see some good basketball. That's special.
Yeah.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about your career and also the trade in LA that happened with Dallas and some of the stuff there going on in the NBA. Will Vegas get an NBA team? A lot more to talk about with Paul Mokeski. Plus, we're looking ahead to NASCAR weekend. Just 2 weeks away from the drivers turning it up here in Las Vegas.
Also, a closer look at the Women's Basketball League. That's given us a little more opportunities to check out these ladies playing hoops. That and more next right here on Sports Wrap.